Assalamu alaikum sir. This is Tala. The topic that I would like to explain today is electric cars. So these are the main things that I would like to explain in electric cars. Number one, what are electric cars? The reason behind its massive popularity. Then we will take a look at how it works, and finally pros and cons of using electric cars. The first thing is, what are electric cars? So as the name suggests, electric cars are the modern vehicles that runs on electricity. These vehicles are noise-free and are environment-friendly. So as we know that in electric car there is no combustion involved, so they have zero emission and they don't release harmful gases like carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide and carbon and nitrous dioxide. So there are two types of electric cars. One is hybrid electric cars, and another is pure electric cars. So the difference between two is the combustion engine. In hybrid cars we have a combustion engine that can serve as a primary source, and other than that we have a small battery pack, but you can't expect a big miles on that battery pack in case of hybrid cars. Electric cars run entirely on the inductive motor. So if you take a look at the fuel cost, electric cars are more efficient. In case of maintenance cost, electric cars have low maintenance cost, and government is also giving incentives for the people who have pure electric cars. So in all these aspects we can say that electric cars are much better than hybrid cars. Now, let's take a look at the history of the electric car. Electric car is not a new thing. It was invented 100 years back by a group of few Hungarians and few other Britishers. And in 1831, the electric car was invented after a series of experiments. In 1832, a pure electric car was invented by Robert Anderson. It was a big milestone in the history of the electric car because it gives motivation to new engineers and scientists that electric car is something that is possible. 2016 is the best year for the electric car, as the Nissan Leaf becomes the best-selling car of the year. So if we take a look at the invention of the assembly line process, Henry Ford invented the assembly line system, and it was the first time that engineers were able to produce the T model a car in a very bulk state. So that's the reason that attracted millions of buyers to purchase a gasoline car, which was just for $650, whereas if you compare the electric car, it was for $1750, which was much higher than as compared to gasoline car. So people start purchasing gasoline car as compared to electric car. So we can say that it was the dark age of the electric car. Now let's take a look at how this technology works. So we have almost 5 components in the electric car. One is inductive motor, next is lithium ion battery, and then auxiliary battery, inverters and radiator. The component which is attached to the drive wheel is called the inductive motor. The inductive motor has stator and rotor. The speed at which motor rotating component moves depends on the frequency of the current. That means by changing the frequency we can change the speed of the car. That makes it mechanically more feasible and balanced as compared to conventional cars. Now let's take a look at lithium ion batteries. Lithium ion battery is another important component of the electric car, and in fact it's the most expensive component of the electric car. The reason is because it's the main part which supplies electricity towards the inductive motor that runs. So the battery pack is just a collection of thousands of small cells connected to each other. Now you might be asking that why small cell instead of one big cell or few big cells. The reason is because that big cell produces a lot of heat, so we want to eradicate that heat. So that's why we use small cells with a coolant inside, so as to eliminate the heating effect. This process increases the lifespan of the cells by 10 to 20 years. The next part is inverter. Inverter is just a part that converts the DC power to the AC power. That's why it's also called the brain of the electric cars. Now you might be asking that why electric cars are so popular in the world than ever before. So the first reason is environment friendly solution to the auto industry. As we know that they have inductive motor and that rotates the driving wheel, so it's an environment friendly solution because there is no emission of harmful gases. Also these cars can become a renewable source. These cars can become renewable machines by getting all electricity directly from the solar panels or winds. These cars also have low maintenance cost. Charging up an electric car is quite an easy process and it costs very little, about 1 by 3 of the price of the conventional cars. And the advantage electric cars have that the lifespan of the batteries inside is very large. You can expect a lifespan of nearly 10 to 20 years. And the advantage is that charging an electric car costs nearly $2.68 for 100 miles. What are the drawbacks in electric cars? As we know that electric cars are a brilliant technology, especially for fighting against global issues like global warming. But weather is one of the biggest challenges that directly affects the performance of electric cars. Because as we know that the most important component is the battery pack, and battery pack consists of small cells that consist of liquid, and that liquid becomes sluggish as the temperature becomes colder and colder. So that's the main drawback of the electric car. So you can expect 10 to 20 miles less drive in winter. For a conventional vehicle, it just takes a few seconds or minutes to fill it. So but in the case of electric car, we have a charging system, so it takes nearly 30 minutes to charge 80%, and for some cars it might take up to 8 hours to fully charge it. So it's a big disadvantage and drawback, and scientists are working on it to improve the capability of the electric cars. What are the top companies investing on electric cars? Number one is Tesla, which is the pure electric car manufacturing company, and they have the best selling cars like Tesla Model 3, Tesla Model S, which is also called as the fastest accelerating car in the world. So there is also a BMW which created i3 model, and which have Nissan. We also have the Nissan company whose Nissan Leaf is the best selling car of 2016. So they are working on new models that are more cheaper, that are more flexible, so a normal person can easily afford. Thank you so much.